Good morning, everyone. Hi, this is Carrie with Conversations at Carrie's Corner. This is our second podcast of the week ending in September the 26th. Thanks for joining me on this podcast this morning. I hope we find each other well and that life is calm and that you are able to get out there and make each and every day count. Conversations at Carrie's Corner, what is it about? What is my podcast all about? And why am I coming to you? Why would you want to listen to my podcast? I talk about a lot of things on my podcast. Just subjects that we all can face, challenges that we all can face. But the driving force of my podcast is to get each other talking about these issues in our lives that we are all struggling with. And it was inspired because of what I saw in the last 2 years of the election cycle. It really disturbed me that we have lost the ability to have civil conversation with each other. Because if we can't do that, how can we ever fix the problems that we all face? And this is just not in business, it's just not family, it's not in just politics. It's in every facet of our lives. Work, relationships, families, extended families, politics, medical situations. I mean, you name it. And our communication skills have to be working, or else that's when misunderstandings happen, misinformation happens. And so getting each other to talk to each other is the whole driving force behind this podcast. Then to bring up subjects that affect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a million different individuals. But subjects that I experienced in my life that I want to share with you, my personal experience, because I know that I'm not alone in the things that I deal with in my day-to-day life. So sharing it could potentially help somebody else along the way. And then them sharing it could potentially help somebody else along the way. So it's getting this out into our circle of influence, and then those people then sharing it to their circle of influence, and so on. And that's how we get conversations started about these specific issues in each podcast. Before we go anywhere further, I just want to clarify something for you guys too. That is a lamp. I know it's right behind me, and some people are like, is she wearing a hat? No, I'm not. It's just my lamp. So wanted to clarify what that was. Today, I'm going to talk about reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It's a very complicated disease. It's a very misunderstood disease. It's a devastating disease. And it is affecting so many millions of people across the world. And it's very misunderstood. I've suffered for 16 years with it. My case came on as a result of an injury that I sustained in 2006 in Phoenix, Arizona. I was walking to a baseball game and I did not see this huge pothole, and I literally fell in the pothole because I was talking to my friends and my husband, and I, you don't look down all the time when you're walking, and I didn't see it, and I fell in it, and it caused my left ankle, all the soft tissues in the ankle, to basically explode. And I got this horrible condition called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. And there's no cure for it. And it's debilitating. It can spread from one limb to the other, and then from that limb it could spread to the other limb, and then eventually it could spread over your entire body. And what this feels like is you're on fire. Your skin actually feels like it's on fire, and somebody is sticking needles in your skin, and you get super sensitized to it. Your nervous system, when you are injured, you get into this immediate body reaction called flight and fright. Flight, flight. I can never get those words right. But your body immediately seizes up. And your brain then starts to send immediately defense mechanisms to wherever you are injured. And the easiest explanation to understand this disease is to take that signal that you get, that your brain sends out immediately to protect yourself, and it never resets. So your body is in this constant motion of fear and flight and sending blood supply and defense mechanisms. And so it gets into this huge like treadmill where it just never stops, and it just goes and it goes and it goes. And so it is a nervous system disorder that doesn't correct itself. When I had it, my symptoms were so bad, you couldn't even touch my leg. I couldn't wear socks. I couldn't wear a shoe. It was hot, and then it was cold, and then it was blue, and then it was green and purple and all, and it would swell, and the temperature would go from really hot to freezing. And it got to the point where I was living on pain pills, morphine, and I couldn't live. I didn't have a life. I couldn't function. I just couldn't function. I had tried everything. And luckily for me, I found a specialist in Phoenix, Arizona, and he took literally 5 minutes to diagnose me. And I'm so grateful that I found that doctor, and he treated me, and eventually I ended up getting an implanted pain pump similar to a cancer pain pump that is embedded into my side, and it controls the nervous system in that area on my leg where I have all the problems. So it drips medication 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and I can't stop it. I can't control it. It is surgically implanted. And the system itself is refilled every 3 months. So the medicine that I have in it to control the nerve damage and the nerve pain is refilled every 30 days. No, I'm sorry, every 90 days. It turned my life around. It literally took me from being suicidal because I couldn't function. At the time I had a young child at home. He would have been, Wayne would have been, Wayne would have been 13. And I couldn't take care of him. I couldn't take care of my 18-year-old. I couldn't take care of my husband. I couldn't do anything. I was literally living on pain medication because I was in so much pain. And you can't live like that. You cannot survive a life on oral pain medication. It's impossible. So we did a few things. Nothing worked. And then my doctor said, I think you are a candidate for an implant. And so we did a trial, and lo and behold, I got relief. That was in 2007, and now it is 2025. And I am on my 5th implant. And it is an amazing miracle for me. So that's the first thing I want to relate to all of my fellow RSD warriors that are out there struggling. Be aggressive with your treatment. Be aggressive with your doctor. If it's not working and you're not getting better, you are your advocate, you and your family. If it's not getting better, then you need to force the issue. You need to say to your doctor, I'm not getting better. I can't continue to live like this. There's got to be other options, and really push your own advocacy. I didn't have to do that because my doctor was phenomenal, but I see this all the time. I hear this all the time from RSD warriors where they're misdiagnosed, they're treated incorrectly, they are miserable, they lose their jobs, they become hermits, they become suicidal, and this disease has an extremely high rate of that. And so we want to make sure that that never happens to anybody. I want to make sure that if you are struggling and you need help, you can reach out to me, and I will figure out a way to get you the help and assistance that you need. We have to help each other. This is a terrible, terrible disease. So that's sort of the backstory. Today I want to talk to you about the things that can cause your disease to flare, where it sends signals again that you are struggling. And there's triggers, and all of us have our own triggers that set this off. There's 2 triggers for me that always cause me to have more pain, and my pain is always in the afternoon because I'm still working full time. So stress is a big trigger. Like for anybody else with any other disease, stress is a huge trigger. So what do you do to help control the stress? Well, for me, I have a space where I go that is quiet, where I can be alone with my thoughts and reconnect and decompress and eliminate all the outside stressors and all the outside noise. I have a koi pond in my backyard, and it is the place where I go frequently throughout the day, and I just sit. I just sit and I watch and I listen and I unwind and I decompress, and I try to turn off all the stress. I literally turn it off. And that helps me immensely. Recently we had a major problem with my pond, so we've had to rebuild it. So I haven't had it for 5 months now, and I know that it is a contributing factor to the increase in my stress levels because I am not able to go do that. So I want you to think of a place that you can go visit. It doesn't have to necessarily be a physical going a place, thinking of a place, somewhere that makes you happy, or a memory that makes you happy, or an event that you can remember that, made you really happy. The birth of a child, your wedding, whatever. And then I want you to get up out of your chair, wherever you are, and at least go sit in a different place, whether it's in your office or whether it's at home. Physically get up and go sit, and then say to yourself, okay, I've got to have at least 5 minutes of uninterrupted, no phones, no nothing, just stopping the noise for 5 minutes. And you should be doing that 3 times a day. It's a technique that I learned from one of the therapists that I worked with, and it truly is a massive tool in dealing with a lot of other stresses, not just any stress. Let's say that way. It is a great tool to deal with any kind of stress. And then I think, the next big thing that affects people with RSD are other physiological challenges that you may be having, another injury, for example, or if you're unable to get out and really do some exercises, that in and of itself creates more complications with this disease. Now, I'm not saying if you aren't capable that you should just sit there. I'm not saying that. Even if it's just literally walking from your front door to your driveway and back to your house, and trying to do that, and that physical motion of getting away from the phones, the computers, the television, the iPads, and literally just encapsulating yourself, similar to going to that place, but this is a physical activity of getting your body up and moving. That has helped me in the last 3 years more than I realized it would have done if I had implemented this first. I lost my mom 3 years ago, and then just a year ago, I lost my service dog. So I've been dealing with this really dark grief, and this wonderful therapist that I worked with gave me these 2 tools. This meditation, if you will, this going to a place that you can just literally check out for 5 or 10 minutes, And then also this physical activity, physically moving your body in a direction, whether it's walking from your kitchen to your bedroom, walking upstairs if you have stairs, walking from your front door to your driveway, or from your front door to the back of your yard, and try to do that 3 times a day, right? It's going to take you about 10 minutes to do that 3 times a day. Those 2 things have helped me cope with the unbelievable stresses that I've had this year. And this year has probably been one of the hardest years for me. I lost my mom 3 years ago, and then I lost my dog a year ago. And then this year, physically, I've had 4 major surgeries. Myself and my husband has not been well. And because of our economy, the businesses that I have been struggling. 2025 has been a really, really tough year. And so these techniques have really helped me decompress so I can re-engage and help or apply myself to the things that need my attention the most: my health, my husband, my business, and not feeling completely and totally overwhelmed. Because this disease is a nervous system disease, right? And so you're already predisposed to having a trigger mechanism within your makeup, your nervous system. And so when you continually add all of these stresses on top of it, you got to figure out a way to decompress all of that, to disperse it. By using these two techniques, it has helped me immensely this year. I really don't know if I wasn't doing these 2 things. I really don't know if I'd be sitting here. That's how important it is. Stress of any kind is a huge determining factor, and you've got to figure out ways to get it under control. These are the 2 things that I do to help me with my stress. The next thing that has really helped me is meditation and downtime at night. I'm a night owl. I've always been a night owl. And so for me, in the evenings, my way to decompress and unwind is to watch television, okay? So what I've started to do in that period, the last hour that I'm watching television before I'm ready to go to sleep, I turn off my phone, I put it down, and I don't touch it. And I take that time to really hone in on being quiet and being in the moment of either meditating, listening to music, or watching television. And it has really helped me decompress. It has helped me unwind. It is helping me fall to sleep faster. So I'm going to sleep faster, I'm staying to sleep longer, and I'm feeling rested when I get up. So, phone's off, whether you're watching TV or whether you're listening to music or whatever you're doing, be in that space. Don't be worried about what you got to do tomorrow. Don't be worried about what's going on your phone. Don't be worried about what's going on with your family. Just really hone in that 30 to 60 minutes before you're ready to go to sleep, and just imagine your gears one by one getting lower. And so you are lowering these levels of stress on your nervous system, and you are learning to center and eliminate all the quiet. And it really is a technique that has helped me, and I wanted to share it with you if you suffer with RSD. It is no joke. This is a very debilitating disease. There are people in our community that can't even wear clothes because their skin is so incredibly sensitized and their nervous system is going 110 miles an hour, and so it affects so many different avenues wearing clothes. Just for some people, the physical touch is excruciating. So it's up to all of us that deal with this disease to try to help each other cope with it the best way we can. And one of the things that I want to do as somebody that's been living with it for quite a long time is give you the tools that I've learned to cope and deal with this, so it doesn't rule my life. I rule it. That is so important. You don't want to let this disease rule what you do in your life. You want to cope with it, live with it, but you control it. Positive attitude, positive reinforcement, decompressing, trying to eliminate your stresses, trying to take some time at night to just literally think of a gear mechanism, one gear at a time, lowering and lowering and lowering to where you are completely at ease and ready to go to sleep. And I promise you, you will go to sleep quicker, and you'll stay asleep longer, and you'll sleep better. That's the key. Sleeping better through that 4 to 5, if you can, 6 hours of really, really deep, sound sleep. That's when your body truly does rest and recuperate and rejuvenate for the next day. Reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It's no joke. If you're still unsure, if you still don't have a diagnosis, there are so many great groups on Facebook that you can join. I would encourage you to do that. Get out there and ask questions. That's very important. There's a lot of people in both of those. I think there's actually 3 groups where these patients have been suffering with this disease a long time, like me. I think there is a lady on one of the Facebook pages that's been dealing with it for like 30 years, and she's a wealth of information. So if you're still in this new stages and you're not sure what you're coping with, you're not sure how it's going to affect you in the future, jump out on Facebook and join the groups. Just type in RSD or CPRS, and it'll give you the listings of those that are groups within the Facebook page. Of course, I'm here. Reach out to me. I'm happy to share any information, share my resources. We got to stick together. It's a very, very debilitating disease, but you can manage it, you can control it, and you can live a full and happy life. But you've got to control it. You can't let it control you. That is the key. Really, like anything else, right? You've got to be in control of your life. You've got to make the decisions about what you're going to do and not let your situation make those decisions for you. So, many blessings to you on this Friday. I hope this has been informative. If you are struggling and if you need help, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd love to hear some feedback from you, and get out there and take control of this disease and give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace to have downtime, to just turn off the noise, decompress, and unwind. It is a huge tool in handling stress. And try to get up and get moving. Even if it's just, like I said, walking from the kitchen to the bedroom, or walking up and down the stairs, or to the driveway, back to the back of your property, and find that space where you can isolate yourself and really hone in on meditation, calmness, and exercising all the other extenuating noise out, and decompress. Conversations at Carrie's Corner. Please share with your circle of influence. You never know in your circle of influence who is struggling with this disease. It is becoming more common. People are finally getting diagnosed correctly, but there's still a lot that aren't. And so we want to make sure that if you're one of those people, we get you headed in the right direction, get you in touch with the National RSD associations. They are a great source of information and resources. Thanks for joining me today at Conversations at Carrie's Corner. Have a blessed Friday, and we'll see you next week.